Hello and welcome to Attune In The Podcast. My name is Gori and I'm thrilled to welcome you to this new podcast. This first episode is a bit of an introduction to Attune In. I'm going to talk a little bit about my journey as a founder and why I decided to build the platform and podcast. I have 3 children. I firmly believe that it doesn't matter how well read we are, it doesn't matter how well intended we are, it is surprisingly difficult to stay attuned and connected with all of our children all the time. My background working in psychiatry and psychotherapy has been instrumental in me realizing that actually there is a lot of information out there, evidence-based, science-based insights that I think are transformational as a parent. And I used to find myself taking home nuggets of insights from my work, from my postgraduate exams, applying them directly to on the ground moments. And I realized actually there's a gap that we need to bridge. That gap is to support all parents with some of the transformational insights and nuggets from psychotherapy, from neuroscience, from psychology. I believe that every parent can benefit from understanding knowledge is power, and empowering parents and family units, I think, is sort of springboard if we want to think about sustainable emotional well-being for the long game. Because one thing's for sure, we cannot prevent stress for our children. Often there are lots of stresses on family systems. And what we need to do, I think, is reflect, pause, and think, what would it take for our children to grow in their formative years with an inner scaffolding that they can lean on, so that if and when times do get tough for them, they have as robust an inner scaffolding as they possibly could have. And how do we do that as parents? I mean, that surely is something that we all want for our children, sustainable well-being for the long game. But how do we do it? Essentially, I felt that we need to bring that information to everybody, so that all families can make choices and also manage those difficult moments in family life with the right tools. So Attune In was born. Attune In essentially is a digital platform loaded with videos, coaching tools, exercises, and the podcast. Now, let's talk about the podcast. I am so grateful for all of the guests who have taken their time to talk to me about parent-child connection and attunement. I have been blown away by some of the insights, some of the tips, some of the reflections. Often, guests are not only professionals in this space, so they may be consultant psychiatrists, medical psychotherapists, professors of psychology, professors of art psychotherapy, but they're also often parents themselves. So these conversations are not only coming from a rich expertise perspective of people working in the space where they're working with parents or working with children, we're also talking about applied insight and applied knowledge, applied science in action, because often they will bring stories of their own early years or their own parenting experiences. And I just want to sort of say that it really doesn't matter how well read anyone is. No one has said to me that parenting is easy. No one has said to me that this is straightforward. And actually, the key message here is for parents to feel less alone in this and to not feel judged. Because I think we have to accept that we are raising children in an unprecedented time where often there's screens, digital technology kind of getting in the way of emotional connection. Often there are 2 parents working in a household to make ends meet. There's not a lot of choice in that. Often we're not raising our families around our tribes and our communities. People often move far away from their own families. And I think we all need to sort of, in a non-judgmental, curious way, acknowledge that there are many pressures on parents and staying connected to children isn't easy. And at the same time, if we do put a bit of a spotlight on emotional connection, if we ask ourselves, okay, in this busy phase of life, what little steps can we all take? Just little steps, whatever that might look like, so that our children feel a bit more connected to us today than they did yesterday. In order for us to even think in that way, we need to ring fence time for our inner emotional landscape, our well-being. Because if we are on autopilot parenting mode, reactive parenting, sort of not really being intentional, but just surviving, then it's very, very difficult to keep a good connection. And we know that when children feel connected and attuned, they believe that they matter. They know that they're loved no matter what. And that's what I'm really going for. Children believing in themselves, children knowing that they're loved for who they are, knowing that someone's always got their back. So even if parents aren't physically able to be there as much as they want to, for whatever reason, such as work or shift work, etc., there is still a way for children to internalize a psychological core belief that they are loved no matter what. And that's what Attune In is all about. It's helping parents attune into their inner emotional landscape so that they can attune to their child's, so that their children grow with that understanding. And it's not necessarily a time-consuming exercise. The way I've built Attune In as a platform is that it's there for parents on the go. They can watch videos on the train or on the bus. I personally know what it's like to have no hands available to do anything. And I really wanted parents to be able to access credible support in a non-clinical or non-pathologizing way. So that's the sort of philosophy behind Attune In the platform and Attune In the podcast. I hope you enjoy listening to the episodes. Please know that it's a lot harder for us to maintain a good connection with our children if we are depleted and if our inner emotional reserve isn't being topped up. And in order to think about maintaining a good reserve, we need to think about our own nervous systems and think about what helps us feel better. So it's completely normal to go through waves. It's about how can we bounce back from them and what narrative, what story do we tell ourselves when we experience those emotional shifts, because that is the modifiable piece. We will not be able to always have a happy environment. It's going to be impossible. But the narrative and the stories we tell about those moments, and then if we leverage them into learning opportunities for our children. So there's so much to talk about. And this podcast is to sort of help bring lots of expert voices to the topic. I hope you enjoy the podcast. If you are interested in more, there's a link below this video. Do sign up to either join the platform or join the waitlist, depending on when you catch this. But in the meantime, enjoy the podcast. And remember, for us to connect with anyone, including our children, we first need to attune in.